where you look will determine where you will live. Your life's going to go in the direction of your eyes. So if I always look and I see the negative, my life's going to move into the negative. But if I can look and see the good or the positive, I'm going to move in that direction. You got to fix your eyes for the beginning and the end. You start in A practically, but when you're in A, you're also visioning Z. Your focus becomes your forecast. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Toddcast. I'm your host, Todd Bishop, where we discuss all things life, leadership, faith, dreams, goals, just about everything you can imagine. We hit every subject. Nothing is unfiltered or uncut. This is raw. We don't splice and dice. It is from the beginning to the end, the Toddcast. Now, there's other Toddcasts out there, but here's what we ask you to do. Ignore all the others. This is the Toddcast worth leaning into, and I'm joined by my great producer, the mighty man of God, Isaac. Isaac, say hi to everybody.
Hi, everybody.
You said, you could say more than just hi, everybody.
Hey, guys. On the Toddcast, super honored, and yeah.
You do a great job. Hey, by the way, there's a couple things we always want people to do on the Toddcast. We want you to like, subscribe, share, comment. These are important. Like, subscribe, share, comment. Don't just watch the video. Make sure you share it. Make sure you're subscribed to Todd Bishop's YouTube, the Toddcast. Make sure you log into that and get involved and get engaged on a regular basis. Go back and watch previous content because I think it's important. And some of the content we talked about, we don't bring up again. It might be a little pot shot here and there, but I'm grateful to have you guys watching another episode. And today we got a great subject we're going to talk about today. But we just want to let you know this episode is brought to you today by Psycho Preacher. That's my band. That's my band. That is not my band. What is that, Isaac?
Your band name?
No, that's my brand. That's my brand.
Your brand.
Psycho
yes.
Preacher is a new brand that we got, and we still haven't figured out what we're doing with it, but we do know that it's coming soon. So, and we're not going to talk about my previous band titles, okay, Isaac? Thank you very much. But welcome, welcome, welcome. Once again, subscribe, like, comment, share with somebody that needs this kind of content in their life. And I was really thinking about what we could kind of chit-chat about. And I was looking at some of my notes and my journal I keep with me. It's my second journal this year, maybe my third journal this year. I was just looking through some things and just saying, hey, what can we talk about with our Toddcast audience? By the way, wait a minute. Before we go into that, man, if you're a leader, if you lead in a church, you lead in a business, you're a pastor, high-capacity volunteer in your church, you should join us at the X Conference on July 8th and 9th in Long Island, New York. You are not going to want to miss that. The X Conference is the Northeast premier leadership conference for all things church-related, life-related, business-related. You're going to want to be there July 8th and 9th. Go to thexconference.com or .org or something. It's going to pop up right on the screen right here. Make sure you get logged into that and join us in July. It's beautiful in the summer on Long Island, isn't it, Isaac?
It's beautiful. We have a pretty nice week this week. It's pretty hot outside right now.
Yeah, we had a lot going on. Beautiful this time of year. I love June. June is beautiful. Isaac, Mary's got us renovating our bathroom, master bedroom, and giving her a walk-in closet. Yeah. And so she had this idea for the accent wall that she wanted. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of like a board and batten with a little flair to it. I showed you that picture earlier. Yeah. And so here it is right here. Here's the picture of what she wanted and what I created. There it is. But what's interesting is I did that I finished that the day I was recording this, but I started it yesterday, and I sliced my finger, like, with some sheet metal. It's kind of it's just like, it was so crazy. There was a door that was balancing. We got some guys working in the house. They put a door balancing, Isaac, on the on some hardwood flooring that was there.
Wow.
And so there was a garbage bag on it. I went to pick up the garbage bag, and the door started to fall down. It was new floors. I didn't want to scratch the floor. So I went to grab the door, and right at that door was a piece of sheet metal. How was that again? I mean, just, it just sliced me. And so here's what ends up happening. I see it. I'm like, ooh, that looks pretty bad. You can see the little flap, And so I'm like, I go downstairs, I'm feeling good. And then all of a sudden I get that, I rinse it off and I put and now I have, I'm looking at it and all of a sudden you see the blood just flowing. And I got to sit down. And then obviously I looked at it today. I said, it probably could have used stitches, but it is what it is. So that's right there. So here's what I want to talk to you today about. I want to talk to you today about stop slicing. No, just kidding. I want to talk to you today for a few minutes. I don't know. Why are we talking about that, Isaac? I think it's just life, right?
Yeah.
Just life. I mean, that's what I did. Yeah. All right. So let's go right into the Toddcast. Welcome, everybody. Here we go. Here's what we're talking about today. Stop playing the leader. Start leading. I think there's a lot of people that they act like a leader, but they're not really a leader. They talk the right way, but they haven't led anything, started anything, or they're in a position and they think that position alone makes them qualified to be a leader. Positions don't make leaders. Leaders make positions. Let me say that again. Positions don't make leaders. Leaders make positions. You have the right person put in the right place, that leader's going to rise up and become everything they're hardwired or designed to be. Leadership is never about a title. It is about a lifestyle. Here's what I know. If you lead with your life, the titles will eventually come and the opportunities will always break your way. And so I have found a lot of people, Toddcasters, they love titles. I'm not a fan of titles. I'm a fan of lifestyle. Are you leading the right way? Are you living the right way? Are you leading like a leader? Are you living like a leader? Some people I got this title. I got this position. I'm in this organization. But what are you leading? What are you making? What are you creating? And ultimately, as a leader, you've got to decide with your life, with your identity, with your dreams, there's got to be more than just a title. It's a lifestyle. It's how you are when no one else is around. Leadership isn't seen on a platform. It's seen in private places. Leadership isn't seen when you're giving a speech. It's seen in the secrecy of your own heart. Real leadership for you and for me is identified not by our title, not by our job description. It's seen with our lifestyle. And so if you're leading something, you actually are in a place, in a position to actually make a difference with your life and leadership. And many people today, they don't want to make a difference. They just want to make a dent. Just a little bit. If I can just do this, if I can work my 9 to 5, get home and play video games. I was talking with somebody today, they just play video games. Like, play video games. Like, I haven't played a video game in years. Here's why. I'm too busy leading. I don't have time for video games. Now, I do like to relax. I do like to sit down and watch. I do binge watch Amazon Prime videos. I'm watching a Canadian show right now, Isaac.
Mm-hmm.
It's with Jason Priestley, who was from 90210. Do you know what that is? You're younger than me by a lot of years. So you don't know what 90210 is.
I've heard of it. I haven't
You've
seen
heard
it.
of it. Okay. If anyone's interested in being a producer, no, I'm just kidding. Right? So it's an old show and he's a Canadian guy. And so it's actually not a bad show. And as of right now, I do fall asleep during some episodes. So I'm not saying that. Shout out to Private Eyes. But sometimes you fall asleep, you don't know what was on there.
Yeah.
In all full disclosure. So if you watch Private Eyes with Jason Priestley, you're like, bro, like there was something. I probably was sleeping at that point in time. I apologize in advance. Because to be honest, some episodes of shows, they're not good.
Yeah.
Right? Is that not true?
Yeah.
Like some of them, they're just terrible. Terrible. Why am I telling everybody this about Private Eyes? I have no idea. But I would say it this way. Jason Priestley was leading when he was in 90210. And that was a US-based show. Now, he's got this Canadian-based show, and I actually like it. I actually think he's a better actor. I think he's stronger, and I think the way he carries himself on the show is incredible. So, Jason Priestley, I'd like to invite you to be on the Toddcast. Would you come? Can we do that? How amazing would that be to have Jason Priestley on the Toddcast?
I think that would be awesome, actually.
Yeah, that's great. Anyway, all right, so here's what I know. Scripture says this in Luke 16:10. I can't even read my own handwriting. Whoever can be trusted with little will be given much.
Yeah.
That's the reality of leadership. You know, if you start with a lot, you become proud and arrogant. Start with a little and you work your way up. You become confident. And there's a difference between confidence and arrogance. Arrogance is taking credit for what others build. Confidence is knowing how God hardwired your life and how God designed you. And so the greatest of leaders have a confidence about them that people that don't lead think it's arrogance because they don't understand because, that person's too cocky. No, that person's confident in their calling and what God's called them to do. All right, so I'm going to give you a couple keys today as we're walking through the Toddcast today. And the first is this: own your clock or your clock will own you. If you want to lead, you got to own the clock. You got to be able to say yes to things and no, for everything you say yes to, there's a no for something else. Like if you say yes to a meeting or an appointment or whatever, you're saying no to something else because you're saying, hey, I've got this and I've got to work into this system or situation. I was just reading, I think it was Forbes Business Insider, 72% of meetings produce nothing.
Wow.
72% of meetings. I'm canceling all my meetings. Like 72% produce nothing. Here's why I think most meetings produce nothing. Because we're discussing, not deciding. At some point, a meeting's productivity is seen by what it decides and what it does, not by what it discusses. So in your life, you got to own your clock. Like you got to own your schedule. Like what time do you get up? What time do you have lunch? What time do you do meetings? What days do you do meetings? What days do you not do meetings? What days do you do prep for this? And for me, sermon prep, we know sermon prep's going to be Monday and Wednesday. I'm working on that. Why? The tech team needs it. They need to produce something. So there's certain things. If you don't own the clock's going to own you. And here's what I've always learned. The clock never stops. There's only 2 times I think in the Bible where time stopped and stood still. And I haven't seen that in my life. So that means the clock is always, it's always something's moving, something's changing, something's shifting. So here's what I've learned. Busy does not equal productive. Let me say it again. Busy does not equal productive. Let me say it for the Catholics that are watching. Busy does not equal productive. Like just because you're busy, and there's a lot of people that are busy. They're busy doing, but they don't produce anything. I mean, there are some friends that I call that I can never get a hold of. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm just busy. Busy doing what? Are you busy doing what matters? Are you busy not doing what matters? So saying, renovating my house and had to slice, you like the sound effects, Isaac?
It's definitely, it's immersive.
It's an immersive. Welcome to the Toddcast, where we connect with all 5 of your senses, right? Because right now you're visually like, I can see that happening, right? It was deep too, by the way. Anyway, so what were we talking about? Own your clock.
Yes, own your clock.
You've got to. You got to own your clock or your clock. Busy doesn't equal productive. I don't understand how people are so busy that don't produce anything. Like, how are you that busy? We got some guys doing, this is where we're going. We got some guys doing work at the house. So they were hanging doors today and blah, blah, blah. And so I go in there, I'm doing this accent wall that we were talking about before for my wife. It took me 2 hours to do it. I was joking with the guys. Come on, guys. I'm going quicker than you guys are. And I'm not getting paid to do this. Let's go. And so there's a point where when you've got appointments and schedules that you got to keep, you got to keep grinding. You got to own your clock or your clock is going to own you. Busy doesn't equal productive. If everything matters, nothing matters. Wow. There are some things that just don't matter. You got to get this, leader. Not everything matters. It may matter to them, but it doesn't matter to you. It may matter to their hopes, their aspirations, but that doesn't mean it has to matter to you. A friend of mine said this way: a lack of planning on your part doesn't constitute an emergency on my part. Like there's things that are urgent for people. And they say, but, a friend of ours was doing a training for our staff, and it was about, care. And he was sharing a story how somebody said, Pastor, it's an emergency. And he said, remember Isaac? He goes, if it's an emergency, what did he tell him to do?
Call 911.
If it's an emergency, call 911. If it's urgent, I'll see you during my office hours. I think everybody's going to try and own you. They're going to try and schedule your life. They're going, I need you right now, sir, ma'am. I need you right now. I need you right. And you're like, yeah, but I've already committed to other things. And here's what you have to understand as a person, as an individual. If you're going to lead anything, a church, an organization, a nonprofit, a business, entrepreneurs, whatever it may be, if you're going to do anything, you're going to have to own your clock. Like me, I get up really early. What time do I get up, Isaac? Do you know?
5:30, I think.
5:30. 5:30, I get up just about every day. Sometime I'll take some melatonin. Might get up at 5:45. But it's like I get up every day early. Why do I get up every day? Because I want to own the clock from the start of the day. Also, here's why I get up early. Those first 3 or 4 hours of the day, that's when I'm the sharpest. I start to fizzle by 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm not good for many people at that point. I'm ready to get out of here, especially like days like today on Long Island. It's beautiful out today. I want to go home in my pool. Say a pool, it's still not that warm. It's a heated pool. So, it's like I got to own my clock, or else you don't want your clock to hijack or sabotage your life either. So you want to own your clock. Busy doesn't equal productive. If everything matters, nothing matters. So you got to determine what matters in your life. What are you willing to give time to? I don't do breakfast appointments. Why? First priority of my day is already predetermined. I'm not doing breakfast appointments unless it's with my beautiful Puerto Rican princess, my wife. Not doing any breakfast appointments except it's with her. Okay, own your clock or your clock's going to own you. Number 2, stop reacting, start leading. Now, this is so important. If you're going to really lead your organization, your business, your church, you are going to have to stop reacting. Now, I'll be honest, I blow this one. I react a little bit. And there's a difference between reacting and responding. Reacting is a knee jerk. And here's what I've learned. If you knee jerk, you're just a jerk. Crickets, crickets, crickets. You think about it, you can't just react. You can't be a knee jerk. You have to respond. Response comes from a couple things. One, you got to be able to listen. You don't want to interrupt the person that's telling you the story before you react. You want to practice active listening. You want to hear it and then say, hey, what I heard you say is, when they're finished talking. Why do you do that? Because that's a response. That's what adults do. Adults. The problem in our world today, we don't have a ton of adults.
Yeah.
We have 50-year-old people with 15-year-old mentality. And what we need is adults that have the courage of a conversation, the courage of confrontation, because when you have conversation and confrontation, guess what happens? Growth. You grow, they grow, we grow together. Leaders don't just make decisions. They make wise decisions. I mean, you got to think about, when you're reacting, whatever, you're leading, you're just not making decisions. You're making wise decisions. You want to make the right decisions. You want to make sure the decisions line up with your core values, your purpose, your drive, your desires. But if it's just a decision to make a decision, no, it's got to be a wise decision. Bible says there's wisdom in a multitude of counselors. Sometimes you need some people to speak into your decisions so that you speak the right decisions. You want to make sure you're doing what's right as often as you can. You don't just want to make a decision. I make, I don't know, Isaac, how many dozens and dozens of decisions a day?
Yeah, a lot, definitely.
I have a daily prayer that I pray every day. You'll see it throughout my journal. It's God, give me wisdom. Because I don't know always what to do. I need the wisdom of heaven to come into my life. There's a difference between wisdom and knowledge. Wisdom, the Bible says, comes from above. Knowledge comes from your own experiences. I want the wisdom of God because my experiences can be jaded. I can see things the wrong way, do things from the wrong perspective. So I want to make sure in my life I have more wisdom than knowledge. You need both, but I'd rather tap out a little bit more on wisdom. One bad decision can destroy 10 years of good decisions. One bad decision can destroy 10 years of good decisions. You want to guard your decision process. You want to make sure that you're doing the right thing. I'll be honest, I'm a little weird like this. I don't meet with females by myself. Somebody's going to say, oh, that's so crazy. No. The less likely there will be an accusation. If I'm not meeting with you by myself, or if I have to meet with someone, the door is wide open. Anybody can walk in. My assistant sits right outside the door. There's never going to be a private, you don't have private meetings with Todd Bishop anymore. Can't do it. Why? Because people are always out there. They'll misread something. They'll misspeak something. They'll state something that wasn't there. And here's what I've learned today, Isaac. It doesn't even have to be true. Someone could say something, and once it hits, it might not even be true, and it's still out there. And let's talk a little bit about AI for a minute.
Wow.
It's a little scary. Like, you imagine you can create images of people doing things, and you have to have social media fact check whether or not it's AI or not.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I think what ends up happening is when AI gets so good that you can't tell it's AI, that's when you're going to see a lot of damage in our world today. So I think when we lead, we're not just reacting, we're responding, and we're making wise decisions. If you want to stop playing the leader and you actually want to lead, you have to understand it doesn't come from a title, doesn't come from a job you got. It comes because you own your clock. It comes because you're not reacting, you're leading, you're responding. But also, here's an important principle. Where you look will determine where you will live. Your life's going to go in the direction of your eyes. So if I always look and I see the negative, my life's going to move into the negative. But if I can look and see the good or the positive, I'm going to move in that direction. As a man thinks in his heart, so is he, the Bible says. So how I'm thinking about myself, how I'm thinking about my circumstances or situations, listen, that's going to determine where I go in this life. What you focus on is going to determine your future. We say it this way, your focus becomes your forecast. Your focus becomes your forecast. What are you focusing on, leader? What are you putting your mind on all the time? What are you investing in? What are you drilling down into a lot with your life? And I'm telling you, that's where you're going to go. Whenever you're driving a car, you ever done this, Isaac? When you're driving a car and you look that way, what does your body naturally do?
It goes in that direction.
It goes in that direction. And then what do you learn over time? You learn to compensate.
Yeah.
So your body no longer shifts. When you're a young driver, no matter which way you go, but when you get experience, you know what I'm saying? And so the only way to be able to move in the direction of your dreams is to be able to look there. I think if you read the scriptures like I do, you'll find in Hebrews it says, fix your eyes on Jesus. And obviously that's spiritual, fix your eyes on Jesus. It says he's the author, the finisher of your faith. Now think about it this way. You got to fix your eyes for the beginning and the end. Now, I used to do, now I don't have to do this anymore because I got great guys like Isaac, my son, that do great jobs with video, Abigail, my daughter, editing, stuff like that. When I used to do video production, and Isaac, let's talk about this. Like, what you always, when you're starting a video project, do you start with the beginning or the end?
The beginning.
The beginning, but what's your end? You know where you want to go in the end.
Yeah.
So you're not just starting the beginning with no picture of where you're going.
Yeah.
So yeah, you start here, A, but your X, Y, Z, P. What is it? What's the last letter of the alphabet?
X, Y, Z.
Z, right? You start in A practically, but when you're in A, you're also visioning Z.
Yeah, there's an end goal. Yeah.
You want the end. You want to know if you produce a video and you want people emotional at the end of it, what are you going to come up with at the end? Stirring story? Something to capture them to be like, my gosh, that just impacted me. You want somebody that, so everything you do, it's always the end game. If you want people to give financially, you're going to bring them to that end goal of how to give.
Yeah.
It's everything. And so I think a lot of times, here's what most leaders do. They start with A, but never think of Z. Well, as a leader, you got to think of A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z.
Yes.
You got to know all 26 letters.
26, yeah.
26 letters of the alphabet. You got to know them all, because if you don't know them all, every step of the way, you're going to miss something. And so you got to make sure that you look in the right direction. That means you're looking at every detail. I say this all the time. Leaders notice everything. How many things do I miss? I do miss some things, but it's not.
You pick up on things that a lot of people wouldn't notice. Like your eyes are pretty sharp.
So think about it. Yesterday, right? We had staff development day, and I went and pulled some shades down because we were doing a virtual training. And what did I notice that hasn't been seen in forever?
Like the
spider webs all over the windows. And I was like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Like, hey, get this done. And what does my wife say? Already texted, they'll be clean this week, right? How did nobody else see that?
Yeah.
At some point, leaders see everything. And so when you're leading, you have to understand your eyes are going to take you. So I believe that one of our codes that we say at our church is we reject mediocrity. So if I reject mediocrity and I want everything done with excellence, then everything I look at should be done with excellence. So if I see something that's not excellent, what should I say? Hey, guys, I think we can do better than that.
Yeah.
Now, we have a great team at our church. I mean, we have, I think it's now 27 staff members.
Yeah, around there, yeah.
Something like that, 27 staff members. It's great. These guys are exceptional. 99% of them work hard. You always got to leave room because there's probably somebody that's a little lethargic. But everybody everybody works hard. You know, they all diligent. They want to see the church grow. They want to see lives change, marriages restored. They want to see families reconciled, all these things. They want to see health in bodies, and they want to see people prosper. That's our drive. That's our goal. That's our mission. But I do find that most people today think they're a leader, but they don't have the eyes of excellence. If you don't have the eyes of excellence, you're probably not a leader, because leaders see and notice everything, every detail, every moment. And sometimes there's going to be things they miss. I get it. But we fix our eyes on something, because what you stare at eventually becomes your reality. So for me, I have this really big vision, Isaac, for our church. I would love to see our church running 5,000 people, 10 locations, $15 million budget.
Wow.
That's my Z.
Mm.
So the A, B, C, D, all that must lead to the Z.
Yeah.
Now, I do recognize this. I may not be the one to build that. It may be the next generation to build it. But what am I doing? Casting vision. I'm saying this is where we're going. This is where we're heading. This is what God's called us to do as a church. So where you look is eventually where you'll live. So own your clock, stop reacting, start leading, and understand you got to keep your eyes forward on excellence. And then last, this is probably the most important, good enough is a lie. Oh man, that design was good enough. That sermon was good enough. That conversation was good enough. No, we don't settle for good enough. You want to really lead, you can't do just good enough. You imagine if I went home to my wife, Isaac, and I said, babe, you're good enough. Or you telling Diamond, hey, babe, you're just good enough. No, what do we tell? You're the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Yeah.
Come on, say it. Say it.
You're the best.
Come on, there we go. Right? You literally, if you just, you're good enough. Imagine if I told my kids, you're just good enough. No, I pump vision in it. Good enough's not where we're going.
Yeah.
We're going to a preferred vision where God's designed us to be. The Bible teaches us that you commit your actions to the Lord, He'll make you successful. The Bible talks about Daniel, says there was a spirit of excellence on him. There was something on the inside that drove him to do great things. Listen, I'm a follower of Christ. That means everything I do should be excellent. Good enough's a lie. I want to do the very best. I want to go above and beyond. I want to make a difference in this world. I want to leave my mark. I don't want to make a dent. I want to make a difference in people's lives. Here's what I know. Excellence is not perfection. It is intention. No one's going to be perfect, and no one's going to get everything right all the time. Listen, perfect, I wouldn't have cut my finger. Perfect, I would have stayed up last night and still finished. Perfect, I wouldn't have felt like I was going to pass out when I saw all the blood coming out of my finger. Perfect would be, I wouldn't have got tongue-tied earlier in this podcast. Perfect, we'd have millions of viewers. No, this is about intention. Good enough is a lie, because perfection is not about, or excellence is not about perfection. It is about intention. What are you trying to do? Now, here's what I want to talk about excellence. This is important because your level of excellence may be different than somebody else's level. So if you have a $50 million budget, your excellence level is going to look different than the guy who has a $200,000 budget. If your level of excellence is A B, C because of your life experiences, or let's say you were raised in an affluent home, your level of excellence in your home might look different. But if you were raised like I in poverty, you're going to be grateful for every little thing you got. And you're going to carry it well, you're going to do it well, and you're going to find ways to navigate and save money and cut costs and do all that, because Home Depot still has good product. You don't have to get on there and order the best of the best. You don't need Delta faucets. You can get Kohler. Delta faucets, man. I never thought how expensive are faucets, man. Delta has these faucets for like $1,000 to turn on water. No. We went to Home Depot and got Kohler. You know what? It looks just as good. And you know what actually happens? Water still comes out. Can you believe that?
Insane.
The $200 faucets work the same as $1,000. I never would have thought that. Now, here's the thing. Is that good enough? No, that's good stewardship. You can have excellence without spending a ton of money. You don't need to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars or tens of thousands on certain things. You could be more creative. Here's what I've learned. If you think like you don't have money, you'll be more creative with excellence. And so excellence is about intention, doing everything to the best of your capacity. And so I think there's a lot of people out there that they want to lead, they want to be in charge, they want to be the entrepreneur, they want to start their own business, they want to run their own company, but they don't even know where to begin. Begin with developing you. You cannot lead others or anything else until you first lead yourself. That's why you got to own your clock. That's why you got to manage your clock, or your clock's going to manage you. You got to be able to say yes to certain things and no to certain things, and keep certain things limited. Keep your meeting times focused and limited. And don't meet with anybody over meals. If you meet with somebody over a meal, it's a 2.5-hour meeting. You know what you can get done in 2.5 hours? A lot. You know, I'm a high capacity, right? I can get content out quick.
Definitely, yeah.
Like I was working on something Monday. I was working from home, trying to run here, there, and everywhere. And I redid 2 web pages in between all that. Why? Because I never waste a moment. When I drive, Isaac, do you know what I do when I drive? What do I usually do when I drive? You know? Am I listening to music, or what am I doing? Do you know? Do you even know?
I think when I'm in the car with you, if we're ever going somewhere like to LIU or something, you're on the phone a lot.
Yeah, I'm talking to people.
Yeah.
Because I got 35-minute drive from work to home. Man, I can get two appointments in right there. Why? I'm owning the clock. What are most people going to do? They're going to put on some music, especially now with the summer. They're going to put the windows, listen, in my Suburban, the Black Beauty, I put all the windows down. I put on my heavy metal music. I'm not doing that. I'm literally like, hey, man, I want to check in. I want to have a conversation, because I'm owning the clock. I'm making sure I utilize my time. All right. And then you want to make sure you're responding, not reacting. That's an important feature. And then keep your eyes in the right place, and then understand good enough is a lie. If we told that to our spouses, you're good enough, they'd probably slap us, and we never want to just be good enough. Here's what I do know. God put our lives together, and he didn't do it accidentally. He did it by design. He hardwired your life and my life so that we could become everything he's designed us to be. God didn't just make you good enough. He made you great. There's greatness on the inside of your life. There's greatness in your leadership. There's greatness in your potential. Stop pretending to be less than what God made you to be. Stop playing leader and start leading. And I believe if you do those few things, I believe God's going to take you further faster than you could ever imagine in your wildest dreams. And that, my friend, is this episode of the Toddcast. Isaac, what do we got to tell everybody?
You gotta like, you gotta comment, gotta subscribe,
and share.
Gotta share.
Because just like the Care Bears, sharing is caring. Thank you. You got there. So make sure you like, subscribe, share the content, and comment. All those things help our algorithm. And I want to put this content in as many hands as possible. And as always, we're grateful, humbled by the growth of this channel. And I believe the best is still yet to come. I believe God's got more in store for you than you can ever imagine in your wildest dreams. Get ready, Toddcasters. God's about to take you higher. And as you go higher, get ready, because it's all going to happen because you stopped playing the leader and you started leading. Until the next episode, Toddcast, be ready. God's got more in store for you.